Hello again. Part 3, I believe, on the Thunderbolt build for the beaches to the bulge. On this video, hopefully I'll be able to concentrate on is painting the engine, getting everything together to a certain point, and cracking on with the wings, getting them assembled, and what's after that? Undercarriage. So, without further ado, let's turn the camera around and see what we can do. So, go and have a look. Right, first of all, I've already primed it, so all I'm going to be doing is just sort of like a pre-shading type thing on the front part of the engine. This is going to be done in a neutral grey on the front part, and this is just going to basically aid sort of like the weathering part of it. Also I'll do a bit of the inside as well. You can, to a very limited degree, see inside the cowling. So, but I'm not going to kick the arse out of it. A few bits here and there. Because predominantly, well, the inside of the cowling, I'm going to paint a yellow green, as well as the undercarriage, well then the wheelbase as it were. And this little part here that goes into the actual cowling itself, again that's going to be that yellow green. So just doing just a tiny bit of the old pre-shade there. Now the actual engines themselves, the black that I'm using is a NATO black. So what I'll do is I'm just going to paint the engine itself the NATO black, and then once that's properly dry, I'm going to go around with a dark iron buffable paint and basically just not really slap it on, but enough so it actually, once you start buffing it, you know, it does pop out, and which I'll give you a demo of how I do that after the paint is dry. So again, I'm not going to go completely all out, because obviously you can't see, you know, the whole engine as it were, and it's not this part that's going to be the most visible. So you can get away with it really, but it's this part in the front, this part here, which when it comes down to it, this is the bit that's going to show. So with this, do it as you like, but just try and make sure you get into all the little nooks and crannies on this one. So you can go one way on the sides of the cylinders. And back the other way. And just a cursory light coat over. Then you can just have a quick look round, making sure you got all the bits and pieces that you want, and you can leave it at that. So once that's dry, I'll come along with the buffable paint. That's pretty much all I really want to do. There's no point in doing that because you can't see it anyway. The inside of here, oh, I'm dropping everything. Oh, so I just dropped part of the engine. because you're not going to see it. And also inside here, I'll paint that again, the yellow green, but predominantly you're not going to see a lot inside there anyway. So let me just do a quick colour change and I'll get back to you. Right, here's for the yellow green. So for the inside bit, oh, that doesn't sound so good. It's not too bad now. So I'll be saying me airbrush was struggling a bit now. So basically it's just the yellow green going in, just keeping some of the pre-shading going, just so it's got a bit of, you know, something in there, as in it's like it's been, you know, maybe the heat from the engine, or you know, some oil or whatever. You probably won't be able to see that, but you know, it's something else in there, so when you look at it, you know, it could catch your eye and so on and so on. You're not really going to see this, but I'm just going to go over it anyway. Well, I don't think you will anyway. It's near the rear of the engine anyway. And, oh, get off. And this part here, which I'll just do the inside. Basically, I'm just trying and touch all the bases with this one. As in, I don't want to like put it on and suddenly you've got like bare plastic. Even if it's a small little sliver, it's going to be enough to really get on your wick, and you're going to kick yourself and you think, well, why didn't I do it? And I think we've all come to that point before when, you know, you just wish you had. So I can just pop that down on there and just pick this one up by the end that's going into the cowling. So you can see I'm not putting masses and masses of paint on it. It's just enough to cover it. And that should be alright. Yeah, happy with that one. So I'll stick that there. And basically what I'll do is around the front of the part here, again, this is basically just round for the sides, because I believe the cowling, or the cowl flaps, or you want to call it, or whatever it is, are going to be open. Well, so you get a choice of open or closed. So I've gone for the open option. So as long as I've gone through and down around the edges, then if it does show through, then I'm not going to be mightily disappointed or end up having a stroke. So, yeah. So, with that done, I believe that is all the yellow green that I do need to do. What I will do now is just show you very quickly when we're talking about doing the actual fascias of all the cylinders on the engine and stuff. So, what we've got here is Mr. Colour Buffable Paints. This is the dark iron. Let me just get metallic paintbrush, because I keep all these paintbrushes separately. So I've got no sort of like feeling that I'm going to put a decent brush into it or the wrong brush and completely cock things up, which I do have a habit of doing. But anyway, again, this is very, very simple. Oh bloody hell, it's congealed a bit down there. Deary me. Oh, let's wake it up a little bit. Yeah, not you, Molly. I'll clean that off in a moment. And basically all you're going to do on this one, this is the front here, the engine, and I'm just basically going to light swipe over the actual cylinders themselves. Around the tops. One thing I like about this paint, it does travel, as in you don't have to have an awful lot on your brush, and it does go quite a way. So with that, that's all I'm going to do for that. So just pop that to one side and dry, and then just get the other one, and it's the same thing, just a quick lick of paint. And that's it. That's all we're going to do. Won't bother with the tops there because that's going to be behind the main one. So again, you're not really going to see that. So what I'll do is, let me just tidy that up. Put the top back on because it does evaporate rather easily. What I'll do is I'll change the camera angle so you can actually see, and basically you'll see the difference between like the dark iron with the NATO black and with this. You can just buff it up and you can see like a real difference, and it's quite a big difference actually when you look at it. So I'm just going to finish this, cleaning this brush off, and yeah, catch me in a minute. Right, this is the front part of the engine, and as you can see it's quite a flat black, as it were. Not much to it, not much as in life going on in it. Anyway, that's the paintbrush I used, and what we'll do is, just to show you that if you've never used these buffable paints before, what really good effects you can get. So, dry brush, as in, this is the one I used, and you just go all over it. I'm hoping the camera can pick this up. But you've got that sheen, that metal look coming up already. And you can do as much or as little as you want. And you just keep going. Wherever the bristles hit, it buffs. So the internal parts here with the cylinders, they're not getting the full treatment, if you know what I mean. As the brush goes over them, it's not being touched. So, but if you want to, you just change the angle, and you can get in there. So I'm hoping now that with the different angles that I'm trying to get, and the light's pretty poor, I'm afraid. There you go. You can see it's quite a metallic look, and it works. Well, I think it works rather well when you put it all together. So, and that's it. So all I'm going to do is the same with that. Well, yeah, you see the differences now. Look. Big difference. So I'll do this one, and what I'll do is, all I'm going to do is go over that with a neutral grey, which I've got, or a medium grey, which I've got there, and hopefully we can sort of like bung this together and move on. Right, all sorted for the engine. Where are we? Here we go. So all we'll do is just stick it all together. That part. Where's that gone? There we go. Pop that on there. Then let's do the front part. Make sure it's all pushed together nicely. We've got the poly cap, which stick in there. Make sure it's in properly. Get in. Why won't you go in, you little shit? There you go. Run that around with a bit of glue. Put it that way so the poly cap doesn't shoot off again. That's it. And there you go. The next thing for the engine would be to put all of this into the cowling. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that off purely because it'll be a lot easier, because I'll stick the like a sponge inside so I can paint the outside without basically sticking anything inside it. Then we can put everything else together once that's done, and once I've painted the cowl flaps, is it? That stuff there. So anyway, that's the engine together. Right, next up is the wings, and very quick, I'm only going to show you one of them because they're more or less the same anyway. Multi-part affair. I have dry fitted them and they do fit pretty damn well. So all I'm going to do is basically pop them together, and where the gun port, or where the gun ports will be, where the aperture is, literally all I'm going to do is get some glue, pop it in, let God's gravity do the favours for us, or you can go that way. And just pop them together like that, and you get that tiny bit of seepage through the glue, through the part itself, which is good confirmation that you've got enough glue in there. So what I'll do is I'll go the other side, and again it's just tap and let it flow down, and just blowing the glue down, just make sure you've got all the coverage that you need. And again, just give it a quick snort, click click click, bit of a squeeze, and that's it. That is job done. So it's the next point where the flaps will go. You get a bit of seepage through there, but what I found is if I use a fiberglass pen, which is one of these and just attack it with that, it takes pretty much everything off, and doesn't bugger up your plastic either. So that is a good way of taking like excess glue off, which is something that I learned the hard way. So yeah, that's all I do. And once this is all properly dry, I can whip it over with a sanding stick, get rid of all the glue marks and the stubs which I've left on there. The reason why I've left these on there is that I've got a habit of taking them off but taking too much plastic off, so I end up with a bit of a gap, or you look at the leading edge of the wings and it sort of goes whoop, like that, because I've been a bit over exuberant with the old sander. So yeah, it's one of my things that I do, and do it rather well if I don't say so myself. Taking off plastic when I don't have to. Well, really shouldn't do, put it that way. Right, that's pretty much secure. So the next part on that one is literally, you've got this part here over, I believe it will be some form of landing light. And you can pop it in and you've got absolutely no gap whatsoever. So very, very sparingly, because what I don't want is a load of glue spurting out everywhere. There you go. And just tap that down, and that's it. And with this part, when I actually did dry fit it, it clicked in and I thought, alright, no glue. So literally click and there you go. Got a slight edge on that one. If I just push that down and it's gone. Perfect. And there you go. There's one of your wings. And let me just see if I can show you. Remember I said in the previous video that I was going to leave it all off until I really needed to put it all on because of the fit was so good. There you go. I don't know if you could see that. But the way that that's actually gone on, you don't you don't need to put it on now, because you can just stick it on. I'll just push that on a little bit further, and that's it. I mean, there's no gap, there's no anything. So there you go. Right, I'll crack on with this. What I'll do is I'll put some other bits and pieces like the doors on here. I'll put the gun barrels on, and what I'll do is I'll march on a bit, and I'll see if I can get the canopy sorted out as well. Once the canopy's on, then I can crack on with the old primer. Let me just see where it is. Alright, it's going to be here. So in order to get the canopy on, what you do need to do is, there's a part here that I'll put, I imagine it's the armour glass part in the front of the windscreen. So what I'll do is, if I can get all this sorted, painted up and put the canopy on, and then hopefully we can go into some form of primer. So that's my intention. So on the next video, hopefully we'll have this primed and all the rest of it, and we can crack on and get things sorted out. Maybe go for the main painting if we want, or we could go for the wheels and all the rest of it. But obviously we've got invasion stripes to put on as well. So yeah, we'll crack on with that. So we'll end it there on that video. What I'll do is I'll progress a little bit more. Again, I'll take some stills and all the rest of it, but everything that I do on the video, on the kit, I shall convey to yourself, and what I've done. Also, I fitted the horizontal stabilizers, and again, no glue required. It just goes, and that's it. There's no reason for any filler at all. I might just put them on as in glue them on, so obviously they're not going to fall off in later years. But the kit is that good, but with the wings and the tail and everything, exactly the same as the bobble top. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. So I'm going to crack on. I'll let you crack on with your builds. And if you're not awake, you will be now when you turn it off. So yeah, having fun. A lot of fun with this. I know I would do anyway. Anyway, right, let's bugger off. I'll speak to you soon. Happy modelling. Hope they're going well. And I'll catch you on the next video. So until then, take it easy. Bye.